If you would like to go and grab a blanket to sit on, a pillow or firm couch cushion that looks like a hot dog roll, go ahead and grab that. And once you have your props, we will meet in a seated position with our legs crossed. And whatever leg you placed in front, go ahead and switch it so that the opposite foot is in front. You may find that your knee needs a little bit of support. By switching the leg, go ahead and support your body so it's not being strained. You can place your hands on your knees or in your lap. If you place them in your lap, I invite you to take your left hand on top of your right hand and then place them in your lap. That way your right masculine side is holding the left feminine side. Gently close the eyes. Begin to settle in, allowing other thoughts and worries or to-do lists of what has happened or is going to happen today. Begin to lift off of your shoulders. And if you feel the need to, go ahead and take a deep breath in through the nose. And let it out through the mouth. And again, making an audible sound as you exhale, inhaling through the nose, filling all the way up with air, and then letting it out. One more time, filling up through the nose, and letting it out. You can close your mouth, go back to breathing in and out through the nose. Keeping the eyes closed, begin to observe the body, taking note of how the body feels today in this moment in time. Not trying to change anything, simply noticing the parts of the body and how they're feeling, becoming more aware of the various parts. So maybe you start at your pinky toe, working your way across to the big toe. Then up the sole of the foot, feet, to the ankles, the Achilles tendon, calf, and the shin. Continuing to work your way slowly up the body, taking note, oh, my knee feels blank today. My muscle on my thigh feels this way. Simply noting how each part feels as you take your awareness over that body part, going through the pelvis and the hip joints, up the torso, working slowly, noticing if you can bring your awareness to each of your ribs as you work your way up, and knowing that if all you can bring your awareness to is your torso as a whole, that is perfect as it is. Perfect. Coming up to the collarbones, and the shoulders, down the arms. Getting a whole picture of where the body is at today, how it's feeling, and accepting how it's feeling, which sometimes may not be as easy as we would like it to be. Going to the wrists all the way out, each of the fingertips, one by one, noticing what they're touching and how they feel doing what they're doing. And then up the neck, all around the front of the throat, to the back, up the skull and the face. Taking notes of each little body part, the chin, the lower lip and the upper lip, your cheeks. Continuing till you're at the very tippy top of your skull. In your mind's eye, create an image of the body after scanning it. And slowly bring your awareness to your mind. Begin to observe the various thoughts rummaging around up there. No need to push one out of the way or try to tell it that it's not an acceptable thought. Simply noticing the thought, nodding in your mind's eye to acknowledge that the thought is there, and then moving on to your next breath. Continuing to see what's going on up there. Maybe there's nothing, it's a blank slate. Maybe it's filled with to-dos or worries or fears, anger, happiness. Become aware of what is passing by, because as we have this hour cut out for 75 minutes cut out for ourselves, we have time to watch the mind in various shapes and forms and see what arises and not get mad about it or upset or want to run away or even joyful and laughing about it. Simply allowing the thoughts to come and go. We have this entire 75 minutes to do that. And it's practice for when you step off of your mat. Because once you step off your mat, you don't have 75 minutes to breathe it out and let the thought dissipate. Oftentimes you're faced with something abruptly and decisions need to be made, emotions are felt and expressed. And so we need to know how to approach these abrupt situations off the mat with ease and grace instead of being upset or sad or angry or whatever the emotion may be. Be able to breathe into it and find that peace and quiet within. Now that we have a pretty good idea of the thoughts rolling around in our mind today, all the chitter chatter or the chitta vritti, as they say in Sanskrit, we're going to bring our attention to our breath, following the inhale and the exhale, beginning to notice if the breath is short or long, shallow or deep, observing the different qualities of your breath. Maybe it's coming into the nose slowly or quickly. Tune in to the airflow, the life force flowing in. And then gently begin to slow the breath down. Maybe counting to 5 on the inhale and 5 on the exhale. Notice where in the body you feel the breath the most. Maybe it's in the chest, the ribs, or the belly, maybe in the throat. Wherever you feel it, begin to guide the breath down deep into the lower part of the lungs and the belly. Belly breathing is calming to the body, allowing the fight or flight response to shut off and the rest and digest to take over. Continue to guide the breath down into the belly and back up. Besides activating the parasympathetic nervous system or the rest and digest, belly breathing also brings new life force energy, chi or prana, to the low belly, which is said to house the eternal spirit, the inner Buddha. So by bringing more awareness to this area, our gut, we are cultivating more of this inner Buddha nature within us. Remembering to listen to those gut instincts. And knowing that it's our highest, most truest self sending us signals of what should be. You can keep this deep, long breath flowing in and out of the belly as we begin to move the body into some postures. You can keep your eyes closed for as long as you would like throughout class today. We'll begin by inhaling the hands up wide and high overhead, stretching towards the ceiling. And take an exhale to plant the right hand down by the right hip, stretching the left arm up and over for a side body stretch. Breathing in to the left side, feeling the muscles between each of your rib bones begin to open up. And inhale back to center, moving with your own breath. Exhale to the other side, placing your left hand down, stretching the right arm up and over. Keep both sit bones rooted into the mat. Inhale back to center. Exhale to plant the hands in front of you and slowly walk yourself forward, coming into a seated forward fold. Allow the head to become heavy here. The sit bones to sink into the mat. Waking the body up before we begin to hold a few postures. On an inhale, you can begin to walk yourself up all the way to a seated position. And you'll switch the cross of your legs, bringing the opposite leg in front, moving anything out of the way, or placing a prop underneath whatever leg may need it. And you can inhale your shoulders all the way up to your ears. Exhale to release. Inhale them up. Exhale to release. Begin to roll the shoulders in one direction. Maybe the hands lift and you get little chicken arms going. Then begin to switch directions, bringing the shoulders in opposite direction. And slowly finding stillness. Take your right ear towards your right shoulder, stretching the neck. And begin to rotate the head in, bringing the chin to the chest. And slowly bringing your left shoulder, your left ear towards your left shoulder. And taking the head back any amount that's comfortable to your neck. And circling around again, nice and slow. Noticing the various muscles of the neck that turn on and off as you rotate. You'll take one more circle in this direction. Maybe you close the eyes, tune back into your breath. When you've reached your third circle, you'll switch directions, circling in the opposite way, moving nice and slow. Becoming familiar with the body and how it feels in various postures and movements. More awareness we can bring to the body, the better. And then after your third circle around, we'll meet back with a lifted head, sitting up nice and tall. Inhale, the hands up wide and high. And exhale to plant the hands in front of you, walking forward, folding, allowing your head to become heavy. Observe the subtle differences between each side, noting how your seated forward fold feels with the opposite leg in front. On an inhale, you'll begin to slowly walk yourself up all of the way. And then you can fold over your legs, coming into a tabletop position where you'll stack your knees under your hips and your wrists under your shoulders. If you have sensitive knees, you may find having a blanket laid across here feels nice, or you may not, whatever floats your boat. So wrists under shoulders, knees under hips, gaze slightly forward. And we'll begin to move into some traditional cat-cows. So you can inhale to reach the sit bones towards the wall behind you, not up, towards the wall behind you. And stretch the chest in between the collarbones, the arch, the mid-thoracic spine. And on an exhale, you'll drop the head, tuck the tail, coming into cat. Inhale to come forward. Exhale to round. Using your own breath, begin to move the spine, stopping and pausing if there's spots that feel sticky and you would like to stretch a little longer, knowing this is your practice in your body. So waking up the spine and the muscles along the spine, the erector spinae muscles. By moving the spine in this way, we're also bringing nourishment to all of the discs in between the vertebrae. And the yogi's belief is that a supple spine keeps the mind flexible, but also is the determining factor of your youth. So once your spine starts to go out, any other things go out as well. Continuing to move with your own breath, maybe making barrel rolls or figure eights with the spine. Moving however feels good to you in your body today. Working out any last tightness that you may feel in the spine. And then slowly we'll bring our big toes to touch. You can take your knees out as wide as your mat. Come to sitting on the heels. If this is too much on your knee joints, you don't have to sit on your heels. You can also grab a pillow, firm bolster, place it under, and then the floor is a little closer, less pressure on the knees here. And you can slowly walk yourself forward into a child's pose. And when it's time to move out of the pose, I will ring and let you know that it is time. We're now moving into our yin postures where we're working into the joints. And you'll have your forehead down here. You can use your forearms as a pillow. And so we hold the yin postures for a few minutes, and this allows the muscles surrounding the joints to begin to relax and open up, allowing more blood and nourishment to go deep into the joints when we begin to move. So now you can feel the compression on the front of your thighs, the backs of your knees, limiting blood flow as we continue to breathe. And today we're working with the season of spring, which is associated with the liver organ. Spring is here. The tulips are blooming outside and they're gorgeous. So we're focusing on cleansing out and detoxifying the liver channel today, which starts at the top of your big toe and works its way across the top of your foot, around the back of your calf, onto the inside of your leg, and upwards towards the liver. Continuing to breathe here. Connecting back to the count of 5 on your inhale and on your exhale. Noticing the thoughts that are arising in the mind space. Seeing if you can bring your awareness back to the inhale, back to the breath, going into the body, all the way to the belly, and back out from the belly, all the way up to the nose. Each time the mind wanders like a buzzing bee to the next flower, see if you can bring it back home. So much excitement with so many things in our outer world going on, but we need this rest inside our body and our mind to really be able to give our all to everything we're committed to in our day to day. Just like the plants and the tulips have been sleeping for the last 6 or 7 months here, we also need rest in order to bloom into our brightest, most beautiful selves. Begin to slowly walk yourself up slightly, and we'll come off our heels, coming into a modified tabletop. You'll slide your left arm through between your right wrist and right knee, coming to land on the left shoulder, twisting towards the right. And if you would like, you can extend your right arm back out long, pressing into your left arm to deepen the twist, open to the right. And then slowly walk your right hand back, press into your right hand, lifting the left arm up and opening the chest towards the left. And you can place your left hand down. Then you'll take your right arm and slide it through, threading the needle on the opposite side, placing the right shoulder down on the mat. And if you did so on the other side, walking your left arm nice and long out in front of you. Observe the subtle differences between both sides here, noting that each arm and shoulder and backside are slightly different feeling, or maybe a lot different feeling. And slowly walk your left hand back in towards your face. Push into the mat, opening up the chest to the right. Placing the right hand down next to the left hand. You can come to sitting on your bottom. If you like to sit on blanket to elevate the hips, go ahead and grab that blanket. And go ahead and sit on it or sit on your mat. Then you can bring the soles of your feet to touch, coming into a butterfly pose. You may have to scoot a little towards the edge of your blanket here so that your pelvis starts to tip forward. And with the soles of your feet together, you can have them as close to your groins or as far away from your groins as you would like. And if this is a lot on your knees, feel free to bring the floor to you with pillows and blankets. This way there's no strain and you can get opening through the groin still. All right, and then you can grab onto your feet. Inhale to get nice and tall. Exhale to fold over. You can round the spine here. You can bring a pillow in front if you would like to rest on. Or you can allow your head to become heavy. Close the eyes. Begin to settle in to your butterfly pose or Baddha Konasana, bound angle pose. Again, continue to stay folded. I'll sit up so I can talk you through this. The eyes closed. We're focusing on the liver, which is responsible for removing all toxins from our body, filtering it out, ensuring that we're nice and healthy and ready to conquer In Chinese medicine, the liver is known as the army general, and for good reason. He lets everybody else know this is what's up, and I'm busy, or I need this, or I need that. Constantly cleaning everything out and cleaning everybody else out. The meridian runs right up through the groins, right through your pubic area, up towards the liver, which lives on your backside. And then from the liver, the meridian goes up and begins to come out and circle your lips and your eyes. The doorway to the liver is the eyes. So oftentimes when people have cirrhosis or liver disease, their eyes will become yellow. So I oftentimes when you're stressed or angry or filled with some kind of emotion, often want to close our eyes and rest. See liver's emotional needs needing that rest. The liver's emotions are anger and happiness. So if you find yourself getting frustrated and holding this pose, just know that that means it's doing its job. The liver's getting a little upset, but it's going to be happy that you allowed this fascia around in your hip joints to begin opening up. So more nutrients and blood flow can support these lines of energy in the body, support our organs, our whole being. Then inhale, you can begin to walk yourself up all the way, nice and tall. You'll take your hands, bring them to the outsides of your knees. Push the knees in, the soles of the feet will go flat on the floor. From here, we'll take the legs out nice and wide, stretching one leg, and then the other leg. Coming into a wide leg straddle or dragonfly. Feet be gentle. And then this might be enough right here on the stretch. And if you would like to go any further, you can begin to walk yourself out any amount. And again, you may choose to have a pillow to walk yourself out onto, if you can go that far, or you can use it to rest your forearms. Gently close the eyes. Connect back to your breath. Watching the inhale travel down to the low belly and back up. Continuing to follow the breath in this way. Following the inhale, noticing how the air feels coming in through the nostrils, down to the base of the belly. Noticing how the air feels coming out. Allow the muscles of the face to be relaxed. Springtime brings a lot of joy and a lot of happiness, a lot of growth for the world around us. We can also bring that same growth internally, allowing the muscles to grow and expand, allowing the mind to grow and expand, knowing that the seasons aren't something just to watch externally, they also happen internally, becoming aware of how you feel during the various seasons of life and nature. I've noticed a lot more smiling and joking and laughing as the longer days have arrived, as the flowers are starting to bloom. I didn't even notice the fog I was living in until the season changed. Wherever you're at, slowly begin to walk yourself up all the way, removing any props you may have used. We'll bring both our hands underneath our knee crease to bend one knee and bend the other knee. Slowly bringing both legs in towards each other. You can extend them long onto the mat. Move so you can see the posture. And know that I only sit this way so you can see me. Feel free to sit on your mat as is comfy for you. So if you like your blanket in this pose, it's pretty important to have the hips elevated if your hip flexors are tight. So get in front of the white. So the blanket allows my spine, my pelvis to tip, whereas if I didn't have the blanket, I would be rounded here instead of up. And this takes a lot of work. My knees have to be bent if I'm not up on a blanket. So if you don't have a blanket, I am going to recommend that you bend your knees in this posture so that you can really get your pelvis tilting forward. And then if you're on your blanket, you can extend the legs all the way out. Inhale the hands up. Exhale to fold, grabbing on to your thighs, your calves, your ankles. You can let the hands face palms up and rest down by your side with the head being nice and heavy here. If you would like, and it fits, you can get a nice little pillow action to rest your head on. Allow the feet to be soft and gentle, folding over the thighs, curling in on ourselves. The spine can round here. Come back to your breath, following the inhale and the exhale. Observing the mind space here as we open up the back side of the body and Give the liver some space. He's under your ribs, by your kidneys, on your right, or by one of your kidneys, on your right hand side. So we're giving them, or it, your liver, space as we compress the front of the body where the liver line comes up through the crease of the hips, compressing these areas. Compressing them, we shut off the supply of blood, and then when it's time to move, the blood comes rushing in at full force and is able to reach areas that may not always receive the nourishment that we wish they would. Allow the breath to guide you, watching it come in and out, continuing to breathe down into the belly, bringing awareness to your gut instincts and reactions. This is where your inner Buddha, highest self lives. Now, with more and more science coming out, it's becoming evident that the brain and the gut communicate far more and in great detail about many of things. And we're only at the tip of the iceberg of what we know about what they're communicating to each other. Continue to cultivate this awareness of your inner Buddha nature. Maybe you envision a healing light or a pristine, endless pool made of liquid gold. What does your highest self look like residing inside of you, in this low belly region? Whatever color and shape and form, begin to breathe it in and fill this area. I like to imagine an endless lake, your infinity pool filled with gold liquid. You can slowly begin to allow this to fill you up all the way around your low belly and your low back, like a band around the body. When you're ready, you can begin to walk yourself up all the way to a nice tall seat, moving any props out of the way that might have been being used. And then we will come into, we're gonna, you can come to your hands and knees. Keep your blanket or pillow nearby. With your hands and knees, you can bring your right foot in front towards your wrists, and then we'll slowly walk the right foot towards the left wrist. And then you'll place your knee down on the mat. And your shin can be as angled as it needs to be. So your foot might be all the way back here, or it might be. And if this is like your knee is ready to not like you, you can do this laying down. So laying down, you'll cross your right ankle over your left thigh, and then you can stay right here, or you may grab onto your right thigh or your in front of your shin. Keep your right toes flexed, or yep. And then if you're staying in swan and your front leg is like this, let's see now. You just want to check and make sure your back ankle is tracking so that your leg's not off to one side. You keep your hands. And those of us that are not on our backs, you'll keep your toes pointed. And if you're on your back, you'll keep your right toes flexed towards your knee. And gently close the eyes. Begin to settle into the posture. And if you would like, you can walk your forearms down, allowing the head to become heavy here. Liver meridian is deep in the hip sockets as it works its way up through the groins. So we focus a lot on the hips and these big, thick muscles all around the hips to open up this fascia that may be stuck or stagnant and allows more energy to flow through the body more freely. Wherever you're at, slowly begin to unwind. If you're on your back, you can place both feet flat on the mat. If you're seated, go ahead and place your right hip down. And if you're on your back, go ahead and sit up and come to seated position. You'll bend your right knee. Then your right heel will go next to your left buttocks, and then your left leg will swing over the right, crickety crack, bringing the left heel towards the right buttocks. They might not get there, the knees might be way lifted up. You can stuff blankets to pad and support the body. You can sit on blankets. You can take this same posture and lay on your back and just grab onto your feet, your ankles. Finding the posture that works best in your body with your joints and your experiences. And once you find the posture that's going to work for you, you can gently close your eyes. If you're seated, you may walk yourself forward, but do not put the weight into your knees here. Keep the weight in your hips. Gently close the eye. Come back to your inhale and your exhale. Allowing each breath in to not only supply the body with new oxygen, but new chi or prana, life force, energy, the magic stuff that keeps us going, the juice of life that allows things to bloom and sprout upwards and outwards, like spring in the element of wood allows us to. Again, compressing this area of the hip joints where the liver line runs up. Allow the muscles of your face to remain soft here as you continue to follow the breath in all the way down to the belly. Continuing to bring awareness to this inner Buddha, our highest self. May not be simple at first. Maybe we don't even see a light or feel it. But slowly, as we continue to practice, we become more and more connected with it. And then we're able to listen to its guidance even more so, instead of realizing it as an afterthought. Oops, should have listened to that feeling. Yep, so slowly we'll bring more and more awareness to it. And it becomes easier and easier to connect back to the truth, the true knowing. Wherever you're at, begin to release and unravel, rocking yourself up. Unwind the legs here, bringing both feet flat onto the mat. You can begin to windshield wiper, dropping the knees to the right, and then bringing them up and over to the left. Going back and forth, bringing movement to the hip joints, allowing the blood to rush back in. Then we'll slowly move to the other side. So you can take if you were laying down on your back, go ahead and lay down on your back. And then you'll cross your left foot over your right ankle, your left ankle over your right thigh. And you can grab on to your right thigh or your right calf. And then if you would like to do it the other way, you will bend the left knee, extend, push your stuff out of the way first, and then extend your right leg behind you. Keep your right left toes pointed. Close the eyes and let the head be heavy, settling into your posture. Noticing if you would like to lower down to the forearms or rest the head on the mat. Observe the subtle differences between both sides. Again, becoming aware, not trying to change. The more aware we are of how the body parts feel in various postures and positions, the more we can make smarter decisions about how to use our body, when to rest, when to exert maximum force. Come back to your inhale and your exhale, allowing any other thoughts or murmurs of the mind or the body to wash away as you inhale. And then reconnecting to an infinite source of wisdom that lies in the low belly. Continuing to envision each breath filling that space up even more. An infinity pool overflowing. Liquid gold filling you up. Always there as a rich resource to pull from. Wherever you're at, begin to make your way up all the way and come to seated, leaving the left knee bent. We'll swing the right leg over, coming into shoelace on the opposite side. So you try to align your knees on top of each other as best you can. They probably aren't going to get there unless you're very flexible. And padding any way that's needed, stuffing blankets into any open spaces so that the body is supported here, and your heels will be coming towards your hips. Taking a deep breath in and out. You can stay right here, or you may choose to rock yourself forward. Again, keep the weight in your hips so that your knees are not being strained, and allow the head to become heavy, the muscles of the face to soften. Come back to your breath, becoming genuinely curious about the inhale and the exhale. There's so much going on with each inhale and exhale in our bodies that it's mind-boggling sometimes to think about, or to keep your focus on one simple thing we do without thinking every day. Now telling the mind to slow down, think about this breath coming in and how it's nourishing you, your highest inner Buddha self, how it nourishes each of the cells in your body. If the body's talking to you in this posture, allowing that breath to travel down to the tension or tightness you may be feeling. Come back to the breath each time, knowing the mind wandering is its natural state of being in this world, in this body, but we can begin to tame this wild beast by practicing and bringing our awareness, just like we're bringing our awareness to this inner Buddha infinite pool. We can bring our awareness to our mind space and begin to cultivate a slower, quieter space to rest in up there. Wherever you're at, slowly begin to walk yourself up. Uncross your legs, bringing the hands behind you, feet hip width distance. Begin to drop the knees to the left and then to the right. Windshield wipering the legs. Good. And then slowly you'll begin to make your way onto your back. Yes, onto your back. If you would like, you can place a pillow or a blanket under your head. I have my bun today, so that's my built-in pillow. Bring your knees into your chest, giving them a squeeze. Maybe rock side to side. And slowly find stillness. And you'll bring your knees to 90 degrees. Then slowly lower the feet down. Extend the legs out, nice and long. Inhale the hands up nice and tall. And then we'll gently begin to walk our feet over to the right corner of our mat. And you'll leave your hips where they are. Begin to walk your top of your hands and your shoulders over to the top corner of your mat, making a banana shape. So get a nice stretch through the left side body. Maybe you grab with your right hand your left wrist, pulling it for a deeper stretch. You may even cross your left leg over your right leg. Yeah, your left leg over your right leg. Left leg over right leg. Yep. This is Banana Asana. Stretching the side body. Connect back to your breath. Allowing it to travel down to the base of your belly. Noticing how that feels in the body. And nice and gently begin to walk yourself back to center. And then walk the feet over to the left corner of your mat. Walk your hands over to the top corner. You might have to lift the shoulders a little bit. And if you did so on the other side, grab your right wrist with your left hand, cross your right foot over your left leg for a deeper stretch. Close the eyes. Observe the body on this side. Allow the breath to travel down to the base of the belly, the low belly. Notice how that feels on this side. And when this side of the body feels even to the other side, you can walk yourself back to center, coming into your final resting pose, Shavasana. Maybe you slide a support under the knees here. You have a pillow. Allow the arms to be wide so that the armpits can breathe. Remain laying down on your backs. Allow the eyes to close, the doorway to the liver. Allow it to rest and relax as you soften the muscles of your face. Maybe you lick your lips. Allow the top and bottom teeth to separate. Allow the throat to soften as you release the muscles of your arms and your legs, allowing the softness to roll over the body. As you rest your awareness at the tip of your nose, allowing these last few moments for the cells to absorb this rest and nourishment that you've provided. Begin to invite life back into the body by taking a deep breath in through the nose, filling the body up, and letting it out. Begin to wiggle the fingers and toes, inviting movement back into the extremities, slowly working your way to the wrists and the elbows, ankles and the knees. Maybe you stretch from toes to head, like first thing in the morning. Before rolling over onto your right hand side in a space of gratitude for this beautiful body and mind that you have and that you're cultivating to blossom into the beautiful flowers of life and being, just as Mother Nature does. It takes work and effort. Give thanks. And slowly push yourself up all the way to a comfortable seated position. You can keep the eyes closed. Bring your hands to heart center, pressing the palms away from one another. Feeling the base of your thumb pressing into your sternum. Inhale the hands to your third eye center, recognizing the divine wisdom that lies within you. Bowing forward to seal in the benefits of your practice. May you know peace. May you know happiness. May you know love. Thank you for joining me today, practicing. Have a beautiful, beautiful rest of your day.